There's a lot coming up, but we have to start tonight in Oregon. And honestly, usually that's the state motto of Oregon. You can Google it later. Usually when we talk about Oregon on this show, it is something about the craziness of Oregon politics, specifically Oregon Republican politics. Oregon is the state where the Republican Party state chairman, you might remember, he collects people's pee by mail. He sends out mailers asking you to please mail him some of your pee. That is his day job, in addition to running the state Republican Party. Oregon Republican Party Chairman Art Robinson once came on this show, and we had a terrible fight about his writings that HIV doesn't cause AIDS, and his writings that it would be a good idea, a really helpful idea, to sprinkle backyards and public places all over America with just a little bit of radioactivity, just a spritz. That'd be good for everybody. I also tried to figure out what he needed all the pee for. It wasn't a good conversation. But he is now the state chairman of the Republican Party in Oregon. And he is a frequent Republican Party nominee for Congress in the state of Oregon. Oregon Republicans' last nominee for Senate, at first glance, looked like a refreshing change from the Art Robinson Oregon Republican craziness. She just seemed like an uncrazy choice. She was well-spoken, a very conservative doctor, who basically chose to run for Senate on a 100% anti-Obamacare platform. That was the basis of her candidacy. And it made some sense in Oregon, particularly because of this, right? Because Oregon completely botched their state Obamacare exchange rollout. And that would have been bad enough had they not also run the hippy-dippiest, most embarrassing, over-the-top Portlandia folk music TV ads for that health exchange, which did not work. So in running an anti-Obamacare campaign, their Senate candidate, Monica Webby, she just seemed like an uncrazy candidate doing an uncrazy campaign, right? Doing an uncrazy thing. That was before the local press got a hold of all the police incident reports about her, and the stalking allegations and the please get this crazy woman out of my house 911 calls. That was also before it emerged that she plagiarized almost all of her online campaign materials. That was before her dramatic, maybe even melodramatic, refusals to talk to the press. And when she lost, having just run this 100% anti-Obamacare campaign, the very first thing she did after she lost that campaign is that she applied for a new job with the state. She applied for the job of running Obamacare in the state of Oregon. Yeah, Oregon is nuts. And Oregon politics over the last few years, I mean, and Oregon has been nationally newsworthy nuts, particularly on the Republican side. I mean, even covering major donors to Republican politics in Oregon means having to cover guys like this. It also means having to cover guys like this. You'll want to cover your ears.
And when I sound the buzzer and say disconnect, it will disconnect all of the causes of that habit, and perhaps you'll end up losing weight. Disconnect. Disconnect. Disconnect.
Feel the pounds just dropping off? That's Oregon. That is Oregon Republican politics. At least it has been over the past few years. But it turns out Oregon has more to offer than just an amazing sauce blend of Republican, mail me your pee party chairman and disconnect major donors, and people calling the cops on their Senate candidate. Now in Oregon, this particular variety of politics is getting to be more slightly bipartisan, and it's maybe better than ever. This is the largest newspaper in the state, the Oregonian. This is the new editorial in that paper that is calling on the state's governor to resign. Now, if you haven't been paying attention to what's going on in that state, and come on, hey, who has? This kind of dramatic call for the governor's immediate resignation, it seems like a surprise. I mean, the state's governor was just reelected, John Kitzhaber. He's the longest-serving governor in the state's history. Just a month ago, he was sworn in for an unprecedented fourth term as the state's governor. But readers of the Oregonian and other dogged Oregon local press have been watching unfurl this slow-motion, long-form political disaster in which revelation upon revelation upon revelation keeps piling up, and they are all about the governor and his girlfriend. The latest revelation reported this week by the Oregonian is that the governor appears to have had his top advisors find his girlfriend paid jobs. Jobs with companies and interest groups who want to influence the state's policies on energy, while at the same time, the governor also had his girlfriend working as an advisor to him on state energy issues. I mean, it's one thing to bring your girlfriend to work, right, as an advisor or anything. It's another thing to try to arrange for people with interest before the state to pay her while she is advising you on their interests. But that is just the latest in what has been more than a year now of stories like this. This comes after the earlier revelations that the governor's girlfriend also once got married to a guy she did not know for money. Don't worry, though. Wasn't anything too weird. It was just part of an immigration scam. The cost of marrying her for the immigration scam was apparently $5,000. There was also the news that she was once co-owner of an illegal pot farm. That was all before she was the governor's girlfriend. Since she has been the governor's girlfriend, though, there has been an array of nice stories like these ones about how she has used state workers, including state troopers, to care for her pets. Other than that, though, nothing to see here. Actually, no, scratch that. Because Oregon, it turns out, is the most fascinating place in the country today. This day, February 5th, Oregon is the most interesting place in the country. I mean, Governor Kitzhaber's girlfriend trouble, and the question of whether or not he's going to resign over his long-standing girlfriend troubles right after being sworn in for a fourth term, that girlfriend trouble thing is not the only thing looming over the state of Oregon right now. Looming silently and occasionally swooping down and terrifying the state, and sometimes drawing a little blood. No, that's not the only thing doing that. There's also this.
Happened again. A fourth jogger has been attacked by an owl in a Salem park. So beware if you're walking in bushes past your park. This latest attack was near the Soapbox Derby track on Monday. And our cameras even captured the owl believed to be the culprit here. The owl swoops down from its perch and will scratch its victims. In the latest incident, Brad Hilliard was jogging early in the morning when he says that owl literally stole the hat right off his head.
So I spun around, trying to see what was behind me, and nothing was there. And I started kind of looking around, and then it kind of hit me, wait a minute, my hat's actually gone.
Yeah, he only lost his hat. He was the lucky one. In the capital city of Salem, Oregon, not one, not two, not three, but as of today, 4 joggers so far have been attacked by a giant owl, all in the last month. The first attack was against this guy, this surgeon, who seems awesome. I just have to tell you, because Oregon is the most amazing place in the country, I have to tell you a little backstory on the surgeon who was the first owl victim. He really does seem very cool. He's a general surgeon in Salem. This is him in the woods where he was attacked. This is him specifically at the start of the trail that led to where he was attacked. The Statesman Journal newspaper, and their reporting on him being attacked by an owl, they helpfully note that he had started running in those woods as a way of intensifying his workout in time for football season, as in NFL football season. Not because he's in the NFL, but because he, this awesome doctor, is a huge Green Bay Packers fan. And during football season, every Sunday, he likes to wear his Green Bay Packers suit. And so he has been intensifying his workouts so he can continue to fit inside the adorable suit to cheer on his beloved Green Bay Packers every Sunday. And that is why he was in the woods at 5 in the morning when this happened. I can't improve on this. I'm just gonna give you the dramatic account as it appeared in the Statesman Journal because this cannot be improved upon. Okay, here we go. Dr. Jakes was jogging near the baseball field at about 5:15 a.m. Suddenly, in the morning darkness, his stocking cap was pulled from his head, and almost simultaneously, he felt something puncture his scalp. The doctor thought he was dying. It was like a huge electric shock ran through my body, but also like I got hit in the head with a 2x4 all at the same time, or maybe a strike of lightning. The doctor immediately began to run faster, trying to escape his assailant. Running in circles and screaming, he began to think that he was having a stroke or an aneurysm. He took off in the direction of Mission Street in the hopes of being seen by someone, not knowing exactly what had happened in the park. But on his sprint towards safety, the attacker struck again. This time, he didn't have a hat on, right? Stolen already. And he felt the blunt force. He looked up and saw a large winged animal. It's an owl. He thought it was a bat at first, but it's an owl. And it keeps attacking people in Oregon's capital city, Salem. He was first. There have now been 4 victims. Nobody's dead, but now they are putting up attack owl warning signs all over that part of the capital city of Oregon. Please use caution. We've gone to the trouble of making this attack owl warning sign, which I think is a little more visually gripping for the threat at hand here, because their warning signs, frankly, looked a little sedate given what has been happening at that park. So Salem, Oregon, or if this is happening in your town, if you would like the digital file for these signs, which I think get the point across a little more bluntly, we will post them for you at maddoblog.com. They are yours free of charge. If you live in the great state of Oregon, this is the sort of thing that's in your newspapers right now. You flip out first front page. What's going on with the governor's girlfriend today? Second page. Ooh, fourth owl attack in the state capitol. But that's not all. Because you should also meet these guys, CJ and Charlie. If there's any justice in the world, I really hope that we can get them on this show sometime soon. I should also just mention, as an aside, if you are not familiar with all the intricacies of modern gay culture in our country, you may not immediately recognize from this picture that CJ and Charlie are bears. And I say this with the utmost respect. Bears are everyone's favorite happy gay subculture. Basically, if you're a bear, you're a big hairy guy who likes being a big hairy guy. There are definitely varieties of bears, but that's the basic recipe. And it is a recipe for happiness, I'm telling you. CJ Phillips and Charlie Rainwater live in Oregon. They are self-described bears, and specifically self-described high-tech bears. They both work in the microprocessor design industry. I think they're both engineers. But they are also the single most amazing thing you need to know about Oregon today, on a day when Oregon already has a lot to offer in that category. Because CJ and Charlie, high-tech bears, these guys are also the owners, the proud owners of JebBushForPresident.com. They have been since 2008. They say they have plans to turn JebBushForPresident.com into a place where everybody can go online to learn about gay rights. So this is their start at that so far. You type in JebBushForPresident.com, and you'll see this is that. They say it's a work in progress. They say they are starting to promote positive dialogue to drive positive change. Work in progress, but you can click through the one link there to their Squarespace page, which is, let's talk about it. We're all in this together. They've got a space for discussions, including a short explanation from them on why they are proud to own JebBushForPresident.com and why JebBushForPresident.com is an appropriate place to talk about gay rights, given Jeb Bush's record on the subject. I think the real message here, though, at the website, though, is the most obvious thing to click through, which is to who are these guys who are doing this? You click through to learn more about that, and they explain it. You know, they put it out there. Who are these guys? They are CJ and Charlie. Look, together since 1996. Engineers, doggy dads, madly in love. And you can learn all about it at JebBushForPresident.com. I didn't wake up this morning thinking this would be the top of the show. There is a lot going on in the world today, and we will get to a lot of it on the show. But Oregon, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for what you have contributed to the news cycle today. You are unparalleled.